Despite a super performance from the Magpies tonight, they went out of the Insure Cup on penalties to a strong Weymouth team. But the performance was to an extent overshadowed by what looked like quite a bad injury to Mark Gamble. On 53 minutes, the ball came into the penalty area and he and a defender went for it at the same time, and Mark was left screaming in agony and clutching his ankle. After quite a long bit of treatment, he was stretchered off, and as I speak, he's waiting to go to hospital. Time will tell, but our thoughts are with Mark. Back to the game then, and Steve Cuss rested quite a few of his senior players, so there was no John Blake, no James Stocco, no Sam Griffin, and no Wayne Crutcher. I think Wayne's still having a bit of difficulty moving after his first full game on Saturday for quite a while. But despite the changes, this was an excellent performance by Wimborne. Started well. Weymouth on top for most of the first half, but Wimborne showing enough to show that they were making a game of it. The only goal of the first half came on 25 minutes when a diagonal cross from the right was met at the far post by Tim Sills, and his header went across Jason and into the net. I don't think Jason could have done anything about that. Good goal, good header, good cross. Wimborne, though, looking very busy in that first half, looking on the front foot, closing men down really well. Luke Holmes in particular having a really good game, and Morgan Turner, who Steve started tonight up front alongside Mark Gamble or just behind him, showed some really nice touches in that first half. So 1-0 to Weymouth at half time, but if the first half probably belonged to Weymouth slightly, the second half there was no doubt belonged to Wimborne Town. That injury came on 53 minutes and the game was held up for about 5 minutes while Gamble was treated. But that seemed to inspire the boys in black and white, and they played some lovely football after that one. Just after the hour mark, some beautiful play saw Franklin Clark put Morgan Turner through. His shot was well saved by the Weymouth keeper. The first of any number of good saves by a very good Weymouth keeper in the second half. It wasn't all one way, because just a minute later then there was a goal line clearance at the other half, at the other end. And then on 69 minutes, a magnificent strike by Billy Maybury from in front of the post had to be tipped over for a corner. And this was the story of the second half. Tremendous shots from Wimborne, great fingertip saves by the goalkeeper. 74 minutes, a super touch by Morgan Turner let Sam Griffin in. Sam had come on Sam had come on for Gamble, and the keeper again pushed the shot wide. Then on 76 minutes, Franklin Clark, who was having an absolutely sensational second half, hit a really super shot, which again was tipped round the post. And then a minute later, the same player and the same goalkeeper and the same result tipped round the post. But this time, when the ball came over, there was Patrick Wilson at the far post and on target to turn it in to make it 1-1. Weymouth came into the game after that a little bit more, and they had a header against the Wimborne bar which went over. And then in the second minute of added time, Franklin Clark, that man again, he hit a deflected shot that the keeper did ever so well to save and just push past the post. So on to penalties. Weymouth scored first, and then Billy Maybury equalised. Weymouth got another one. A couple of misses by Wimborne, and it ended up 4-1 to Weymouth, and good luck to them in the next round. But looking back, there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed about this Wimborne team. Probably, almost certainly, our best performance of the season. Obviously concern over Mark Gamble's injury, and also Ryan Johnson, who went off with Callum O'Hare, young Callum O'Hare coming on, deputising for Ryan at left back, and he never put a foot wrong either. So a really encouraging performance. Luke Holmes and Franklin, the absolute stars, but there wasn't a failure on that pitch tonight. I'm very proud of them. Next up for us, it's off to Bishop's Cleeve on Saturday. There's a coach going. Give me a call if you want to be on it. See you then. Steve will talk about the game in a second, but first, what looked like a very nasty injury to Mark Gamble just start the second half.
Yeah, he's in the change room now. He still hasn't gone off to hospital. We're just waiting for an ambulance. But obviously, it was a fair challenge. In fairness, it wasn't a foul, but obviously, it's one of those block tackles, and there's been some movement there in Mark's ankle. So we're just fingers crossed that it isn't something serious. And but right now, it doesn't look too good.
I just hope for the best anyway.
Yeah.
Thoughts with Mark.
Yeah.
He was in quite a bit of pain.
He was, yeah, and unfortunately he hasn't been too well with it as well. He's been sick as well. So fingers crossed that Mark's okay.
Sure. And now to the game. I suspect you must be very, very proud of the boys out there tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that before the game, I made the decision to leave a few out in terms of giving the lads that have been on the bench for a little while. And I said beforehand I was doing it for two reasons. One is I wanted to give one or two a rest and be ready for Saturday, but also wanted to give the lads that have been on the bench the opportunity to show me what they could do, and I thought they were excellent tonight. It was a very young side out there against a good, experienced Weymouth side who came and were very strong in terms of first team personnel, and I thought our lads stood up to it. You could see the confidence was growing, and the important thing was we stayed in the game and we got our rewards with the goal at the end.
And you mentioned to me just a minute ago that halfway through the first half you took off a 17-year-old, replaced him with a 16-year-old. Callum O'Hare came on and he did okay. Yeah, and
I think we had two 18-year-olds out there as well, and a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. So we give young players the opportunity to play. But first and foremost, they've got to be good players.
Yes.
It's no point just giving a 16, 17-year-old a game. Callum trains with us regular. I think that's his second first team appearance. And I looked around and I thought, it's very early in the game that Ryan had to come off. But I got told trust in Callum, and we put him out there, and I thought he was great. I thought he really did well up against their tricky wide player who was a very good player.
I don't think there was a failure in our team tonight, but I'll pick out two. Luke Holmes, like he's never been away. I thought he was magnificent tonight. As I said to you before, he looks like the go-to player. He's the player that everybody's looking for when they've got the ball, and he accepts the ball and he looks up. And in the second half, particularly Franklin Clark was just absolutely immense, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought the two of them were terrific tonight. I think Luke coming back is giving everyone a little bit of confidence to get on the ball and play, because Luke wants the ball to his feet. Sometimes if we haven't got that little link between the midfield and the strikers, you end up going a little bit long, and we might have been guilty of that a little bit during the early part of the season. So with having Luke in there, I thought our movement and our passing was very good tonight, and Luke's pivotal to that. So really pleased to have him back and keep hungry to get on the ball. And Franklin looked like the old Franklin, full of energy, box to box. We've had a few talks about the situation with Franklin in terms of working both forwards and backwards, and I just thought he was first class tonight. I thought it was a real handful to play against when they had the ball. He was like all over the midfield players, and when we had the ball he had that real drive and he made things happen, and the goal almost come from Franklin. Franklin's had I think 2-3 shots on goal. The keeper's made 2 great saves. We forced corners, we were building pressure, and then the keeper makes a mistake and Patrick scores from it. So Franklin was a big pivotal part in getting the goal, so delighted with him that he's back to his very best. I hope.
I'll mention 2 other players, Pat Wilson, who got the goal, absolutely immense in their penalty area. I mean, he was jumping as high as anybody, and time again, and had his best game of the season, I think.
I can't speak highly enough of Patrick. He's such a pleasure to work with. People forget now we're 10 games into a season, or 10 league games into a season. Patrick had a whole year out of playing football. He had two big operations on his Achilles, and he never gets down about that. He's worked exceptionally hard to get back, but he's playing catch up all the time. And he's been in and out of the side of late, but that's what it will be when you're coming back from injury. But what he gave us away at Larkhall the other week was terrific, and I thought tonight his presence in midfield was very evident, and I was delighted he got his go, and it was great to see him get his go.
Morgan Turner, his first competitive start, I think. A couple of moments in the first half, cracking shot, the keeper had to palm past the post, and also when he got to that right byline there, he just did a little move, and there's signs of something to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgan's a very good player. You've got to play the right kind of passes to Morgan, because he's a technical player, wants it to his feet, and if we understand that as a team and we get it to his feet, he causes problems. And again, he's somebody who's showing a really good attitude and wanting to play at this level of football, and we're giving him that opportunity to do that. So a lot of time for Morgan at the moment.
And finally, Ryan Johnson had to go off in the first half. What's the news on
Yeah,
that?
he wasn't fit to play on Saturday after picking up an injury in the FA Youth Cup tie. He's kicked the bottom of somebody's foot and he's got a bruised foot. He thought he was okay tonight, but he just got caught on it again and it was a bit sore. So, it gave Callum the opportunity to come on.
Steve, super performance tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For your time.
Thanks. Cheers.